Okay, so before you buy paints, you're going to want to know what kind of paints to buy. Primary colors are as you expect: yellow, red, blue. Yellow is warm, red is warm, blue is cool. We're not really here to talk about that. I just wanted to discuss that you can make any color warm or cool. So yellow can be cool, red can be cool, blue can be warm. I'm going to show you here when you mix together a cool red and a white, what color pink it makes. People always say, I'm not getting the right color pink. That's because you're using a cool red versus a warm red. This is a cadmium red. You're going to see that this cadmium red is going to have a lot more saturation compared to this cool red, because the cool red has a little bit of blue in it and it neutralizes it. And when I say saturation, it just has more color intensity. That's why you're not getting the pink that you want. One of them is being neutralized while the other color is essentially thriving in its own. Another thing you need to know is the color name. When you say a color name like red, it is essentially called a hue. So red is a hue, yellow is a hue, blue is a hue. All the colors of the names are hues. When you mix a hue with white, it is called a tint. Okay, so you mix red with white, it's called a tint. When you mix a hue with black, it's called a shade. Adding more white or adding more black is also what we know as value. So tint, shade, and values kind of correspond. I'm going to just do a little exercise where I do something to these colors right here, and you tell me in the comment section what I've done. And I will let you know if you're correct or not. I'll give you the answer right now. Now we're on to just what the colors mean. Each color kind of emulates something. It gives off some kind of emotion. Yellow means happiness or joy. Red means danger or passion. Blue is calm. Green is associated with nature and it represents growth and freshness. Purple represents wealth. Black is associated with death and power. And white is associated with purity. Now that we know a bit about color and what they mean, of course, and some terms, we are going to make a color palette. There's plenty of color palettes out there, but these are the ones that are generally used. The first one will be monochromatic. The second one is analogous. However you say that, it's that one. The third one will be complementary, and the final one will be triadic. Let's start with the monochromatic. So, monochromatic, we're going to use some blue. Monochromatic is essentially just one hue, so one color, comprised of different tints or values and shades or values. I'll show you right here where we take this regular blue and we can add white or we can add black just to create a color palette that is synchronized. So let's create an analogous color palette. Analogous color is essentially three colors together. So here you see yellow, yellow, orange, and red. They go really well together because they sit right beside each other and they create this really balanced look. Now, I could not be bothered to mix together yellow orange. So what I did is mix together yellow and red and just create an orange, because in a normal color palette, it would be sitting right beside yellow and orange and red would be sitting right beside each other, where I have a color palette that they're not sitting directly beside each other, but they still create this analogous color palette. Next up, we have a complementary color palette, and they work really well together, even though they are on opposite sides of the color wheel. A lot of people use these for logos because they are so eye-catching. But I want to stress that yellow and purple also make fantastic neutrals. We'll touch on that in our next episode where we're mixing neutrals, but here we'll just show that they are great as a color palette. And finally, we have the triadic color palette, which is exactly what's in its name. It's a triangle. I'm pointing to the orange, purple, and green, and also the blue, yellow, and red. This is a well-known palette.